Here I am on my last day of work here in the library, and I just wanted to document the place I'm leaving after 22 years. It's been a joy and a pleasure to work here for the most part. It's been some disappointments also, but I'm so happy God gave me this opportunity to serve children in this capacity. I was a high school librarian. When I first got here, I had a co-worker. Her name was Mrs. Lundell, and she taught me many, many great things. After a while, things changed. People's attitude towards the library, the media center, and librarians, books, etc., changed. And after many years, we were required to teach classes, regular classes. My colleague, she taught history, and I taught English. And we did that over a number of years. That was okay, but the disrespect continued. Then after a few years, my colleague decided that she was done. Then I was left on my own. My principal at the time told me that I would not have a colleague. So I was in this space for the first year by myself, and then I ended up with the TV production teacher moving in. Pre-K had already begun to move, had been here for a while, and that was fine. After a while, we found or discovered ways to work together in this common space. It's a beautiful space. This also is used for testing. I was allowed to carve out a little space for the library. The library is probably a third of its original size, but that's okay. I made the best of the situation that was given to me. And I think I did a very good job making the space very, very welcoming for our students and faculty. This space right here is for our bilingual students. Over here is the story collection. As I did research on how to make the library more welcoming and engaging for our students, I discovered I think it's called dynamic shelving. Here's our new books right here. Here are some of our quick reads. So many books, so little time. Back to dynamic shelving. It's when you profile different books to get the students' attention so they can be more interactive with the books. I also decided to put the core on the bookshelves to make them more appealing to students and just give the library an overall inviting aesthetic. Read books with subjects that resonate with you. I believe I curated some good books. And I always ask the students for their opinion regarding the books that they really were interested in. The Hate U Give, I was fortunate enough to see that author in New Orleans one year. Even though the library is a third of its size, it still has some very, very good books. We have about 9,000 books, I believe. Versus, we used to have about maybe 18,000. But I believe now, with the weeding of books that students hadn't read in a while, it really highlights the books that students are more interested in. I am continuing the fiction section. As we're scanning, I'm sure book lovers see some books that are familiar. We still use the Dewey system here. At the college where I work at part-time, we use the Library of Congress. The difference between the Dewey system and the Library of Congress system is that the Dewey system basically, when it comes to fiction books, share the books or advertise the books using the first three letters of the author's last name when it comes to the fiction section. The nonfiction section, which I profiled earlier, they use numbers that are assigned to categories. And based on the book's subject matter, those books are assigned certain numbers. And then you group all those numbers together. So similar subject matters are together. As you can see, we still have a lot of books. I'm not even halfway through the library. I'm sure you all see some books that you are familiar with. Some of these books have been made into plays and movies, TV shows. I'm really going to miss choosing books or suggesting books for students. I'm going to miss that a lot. I'm going to miss students coming in wanting certain books, and if I don't have it, I go ahead and order it for them almost immediately if I can, because I really want them to read. I really enjoy the smile on students' faces when they come in and want the second book of that series. Within the library, I also try to do some interactive activities. This is the QR code library, where the students can scan the QR code and they will get a synopsis of the book read to them. And I tried to make it attractive. I got a lot of things off of Teacher Pay Teacher, and this is one of them. And I added my own little touch to it. As you can see, a little decor scattered throughout. The shells aren't compact, which, as I said previously, allows students to actually see the books, really focus in and zone in on certain books that will get their attention. I believe all my life I was made to be a librarian. When I was in the 3rd grade, I was attending school in Rochester, New York. And I remember that because I knew some of the content they were teaching, they sent me to the library to help the librarian. 3rd grade. And at that time, I had no idea that I would become a librarian. Even when I started my career almost 30 years ago, I did not know I would become a librarian. And I'm so happy that I did. I tried to select books that were diverse in culture, because it's important that students see themselves in books. I remember many years ago I was sent to a workshop entitled Bibliotherapy, where you use books to help students overcome issues that they may have. And the premise is, if they read a book about a character who has experienced the same issues, perhaps they can get some ideas how to deal with the issue that they're having. Although we're not finished with the fiction section, I'll pivot over here to the biography or autobiography section. I always try to get students to read books from here. I usually tell them that if you have a celebrity or athlete whom you admire, read how they got their start. Read what motivated them. Read who influenced them. Myself, I love history. I love learning background stories and things of that nature. And I try to encourage students to read the book first, or get an understanding of how that person operates. This is where I am now. Adventure awaits. I'm going to move a little faster so I can finish up. This video is longer than I expected it to be. But once again, I just want to document what I've done. I'm quite proud of it. When the library was condensed to 1/3 of its size, I had to figure out how to get students to start reading again. Once they decided that most of the space would be used for testing, people assumed there would no longer be a library. So I had to figure out how I'm going to get students in here, first of all, to recognize that there is a library. I had the opportunity to purchase a book cart, which is posted on Main Street, the main hall of the school, and I advertised a lot of things there. I put a lot of activities there, puzzles, I put bookmarks down there, I put announcements, QR codes, all these things, and invited students to come to the library. Unfortunately, the library is at the very end of the school, opposite where everyone else is, so it's very isolated. And people don't truly come down here unless they really want to come down here. So, as I said, out of sight, out of mind. And that's why oftentimes students do not come here, because it's so far away and it's not seen. So I had to work extra hard to get those who really didn't remember that we had a library to come down and browse what we have. I'm just finishing up the graphic novel section. This is a very, very popular section. Now I'm finishing up, about to continue with the fiction section. I don't want to go too fast because I don't want to make anyone dizzy, but classic books are still good books. Here are some more books which are considered quick reads. They get to the exciting part quickly. Have more books here. Here is my color wall. Here, so often I will change out these pages, and students and teachers, believe it or not, will come up here in color. Coloring relieves stress, improves brain function, relaxes the brain, improves motor skills, reduces anxiety, and improves focus. Who knew? We're almost finished with the fiction section. What I try to do is, not all of them, but some of the series try to profile the series this way. Here's another series. Beautiful cover books. That's another thing I'm gonna miss. Just the books titles and the graphics. Some of them are just so fantastic. We have John Grisham books right here for some adults and for adults and for children. I still could have weeded more, but I'll leave that for the next librarian to do. Nice big windows, high ceilings, great design space. Read award-winning books. And here is one right here. Here are book genre labels, letting the students know if you see this label on the book, more than likely the subject matter is going to be about this topic. Then I have some activities they can do. We're almost finishing up the fiction section. Don't judge a book by its cover. All right, that concludes the fiction section and really the library regarding the books here. This is where we have our puzzle in progress. Had this poster because oftentimes students would tell me, I don't like to read. Well, if you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book. And that is absolutely the truth. Then we have more manipulatives that students can come over here and do. More games. I also have a kiosk, what I call a kiosk, and the students can do self-checkouts. And this was my office for 22 years. This is where we process books in our little kitchen area. Over here is the storage room. Before, it was my colleague's office. This is where I put all the bulletin board materials. This is where they do the testing. This is the circulation desk. Beforehand, we had a huge circulation desk, but I did a makeshift one. I basically worked with what was given to me. They never replaced the circulation desk, so I just made one myself. And over here, my husband helped me to come and put this up. And I did a book selfie wall. And I have a card here which profiles the monthly books. And I change the books out generally every month to profile what is being celebrated. And that is it. Today I say goodbye to 22 years of service here. And I learned a lot. And I especially learned that every child needs a library in